Hey, what's going on? It's Anthony Flores, and here are my 2 cents. What we're going to talk about today is illegal immigration. Man, I've gotten, from the last video that I posted, I got some, not blowback, I would say, not hard, but some disagreements, especially a lot from my friends and family, seeing how I am Mexican-American and my stance on illegal immigration. So what I decided to do is to do a story on it today. Now, going back to Obama's initial election and also his follow-on, his re-election, there was a lot of debate about, from both sides, debate about saying that illegal immigration and immigration in general was the losing part of the Republican Party but the gaining part of the Democrats, because that a lot of immigrants, illegal or legal, tend to vote more Democratic as opposed to Republican for whatever reasons, and I'm not going to go into that right now. I know both on both parties, so it doesn't really affect me anyways. But continuing on. So what I wanted to do was clear the air and detail my stance on it. Now, there's a lot of times where in the news, on feeds, on everything, that they don't address what actually America has done. They make it look like America is just some hardened, used you, and now we don't need you, and get out of our borders like country. Now, everybody throws the melting pot. Okay, the melting pot in there. America's melting pot. How could you hate so many illegal immigrants? Why are you so mean? How are you going to deport this? We got President Obama saying, I'm not going to just deport 12 million Americans. They're rooted in our culture, and we come back from the backs of immigration, and how can you ever say these things? And, let's put facts where they are. Regardless of where you stand, as long as you have a valid argument, I'm willing to accept it. But if you don't have a valid argument, you're just going off of what the buzzwords of that presidential election or that term is, you don't matter to me, okay? Because unless you have an educated guess, then that's good of me. We can start from somewhere. So I'm going to start off with Ellis Island, because that's basically the biggest known port of entry for America back in the day. So it opened up in 1892 to 1954. And during that time frame, over 12 million legal immigrants entered our country. What they have to do, they had to give them the name, they had to have somebody vouch for them, saying that they were who they were, friends or family, didn't matter, and answer simple questions and get a inspection to verify for like a checkup, disease, things like that, and had to have at least a basic understanding of English to be able to speak it. After that, it was like, let's go, move them in, this is the country, let's go. And we benefited a millionfold. This country would not be what it is, and I personally believe would not have advanced as quickly as it did if we didn't have our immigration the way it was. Okay, everybody came in, chipped in, and we built this country, and awesome. Okay, good on us for doing it, for the way we did it. Okay, now, in the 1940s, labor shortages, the federal government created basically a Mexican labor to be bussed in from Mexico for the day work for harvesting, and like around Imperial Valley, it was a big area, and then they would push them back at the end of the day or hope that they went home. Okay, that was the Bracero program, and over the next 2 decades, 4.8 million cheap labor basically came in and did the bidding for the federal government, until slowly but surely more and more jobs came and more positions came, and then eventually Americans were saying, hey, illegal immigrants are stealing our jobs, we need to get them out of here, and so began the great debate. Now, a lot of people say that we're cold-hearted, and I say a lot of people, meaning there's a lot of criticism online about the situation. Now, I'm a libertarian, okay, but this is my personal belief, is America's given 7 versions of amnesty to illegal immigration. Okay, the IRCA, which in 1986, 2.7 million were just waived. Basically, like, hey, you are now legal. Sorry for all the stuff that you're going through. Let's just overlook everything. You're part of this country now. Let's go on. Let's live it up together. Okay. The next thing was in Section 245 I in 1994. 578,000. So 578,000 were admitted to, were rolling MC come in and say, hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. We got you. Okay, in 97, that was extended. In 98, we accepted 125,000 from Haiti for Haiti immigrants to come over and have amnesty. Okay, in 2000, the should have been IRCA in '86 came up, and they were like, "Hey, that belongs to us too. Like we were here too. Like, what's up with that?" So government said again, "Okay, you know what? We love everybody. We recognize what you did for this country, and we appreciate it." And 400,000 more came in. Okay, then Life Act also in 2000 came up, and that was basically revamping the Section 245, and that was another 900,000. Amnestied, way to go, let's bring it in. Okay, now, that's just waiving. Let's not even look into what other countries demand people to do before they become actual citizens. Okay, there is a lot of hoops that people have to jump in through other countries. So don't act like because we're not just like allowing express lane all around our border that we're somehow negative in this country, because we're not. Okay, so leading on, so you know, about 1 million legal immigrants come into our country every year. Those are the people that are doing what they need to do, when they need to do it, paying what they need to pay, you know, answering the questions and becoming actual, you know, citizens. Now, a lot of the complaints that I've read, and this is multiple sites, so I'm not going to claim one. It's actually on the FedGov government website. It's been on, I saw it on, let's see, CNN and also BBC, and actually NPR too, is the biggest complaint. One of the biggest complaint is language. It's hard, and I don't understand the legality of it, and language is very hard for me. Weak sauce. Weak sauce. Like, if you're going to come into the country, and you better speak the language. Straight up, you better speak the language. Okay, my daughter is half German. If I want to stay in Germany and like create a world for me and everybody that's in my family, then I'm going to have to learn German. I can't go around expecting everybody to function around me. Now, if I was visiting Germany, or if I was working there for, say, a couple years for whatever, or if I was visiting Uzbekistan or whatever like that, wherever you want to say in the world, then I'm not going to learn the language. Maybe enough to like communicate, but I know eventually I'm going to go back to America, and this is just kind of like a business trip or business opportunity. Okay, now, why am I so against illegal immigration? Because it is such a strain on our economy. Such a strain. Right now, as far as welfare, let's just cover welfare. Okay, 11 to 22 billion dollars are wasted on welfare. Okay, 2.2 billion for food assistance, then that's like your WIC programs or free lunch for children that are, you know, of illegal immigrants that are in this country and things like that. Okay, and then you have another 90 billion on social services. Okay, and then 3 million a day for the 30% of our population that are incarcerated under the federal government for whatever various crimes that have been committed and that are illegal immigrants. So 30% of the federal incarceration are illegal immigrants. And that's $3 million a day. Now, if we're going through a recession and the military is being cut, federal jobs are being cut, people are losing their jobs, and now, like, more immigrants are saying, you know, the Amnesty 2013, you can go to Amnesty for America and just Google that, and it'll give you multiple links for multiple sites, okay? They want another Amnesty 2013, and also for the children. Now, do I want to separate parents from children? No. Okay, even though we have laws in this country for a reason, you have to follow them. So if I'm a legal immigrant, I know that as long as I stay here and I just keep fighting the system, hey, I don't want to learn the language, or I'm just too busy to work to learn another language, or I'm too busy to do whatever, I'm supporting my family illegally in this other country, that, you know, I'm undocumented, or however you want to say it, and I don't want to learn that language, you're still taking all that money from the system. Those are going to people who actually need the money, actually need it. And then what's happening is all this money is being dumped down. Now, I have no problem with immigrants at all. If you guys are willing to do the steps and willing to do everything, hey, awesome. I mean, there are systems out there to help. Non-profit organizations that will help you do all the paperwork. Non-profit organizations that will help you study for a test. Non-profit organizations that will help you learn English. Even kids that are the children of illegal immigrants can teach you English because they're the ones going through the public school system. And that's another thing. Like, there is a lot of money being dumped in the public school system to educate the children of illegal immigrants. And now, oh, we're being treated as, the second-rate citizen, or, oh, how dare you call us illegal? That's so PC. It's not right. Okay. If you're not going to follow our rules, you have no voice. As long as you are not being thrown into jail for no causes, or you don't have access to police, or all these things like that America actually provides once you cross into our borders, regardless if you're legal or not, like just the sanctity of life and all these things like that, okay, that's fine, that's one thing. But if you're actively living here, and you're not doing your part to become a citizen, or to become naturalized or something, you don't have no say. You can't vote, you can't decide things at PTA meetings, you can't do nothing, because all you're doing is taking from this place. Whether you're paying taxes, which make no sense, how are you going to pay taxes, but then not become a citizen because you don't understand English? If you don't understand English, how are you working? How are you getting orders from your boss? How are you helping your children with their homework, with history, with social, all these things like that? And if you are, and you understand the language, and you want to help out, and you are helping out, then what's the excuse? Like I said, I'm open to, well, you didn't think about this, Anthony. Well, you need to think about that, Anthony. Well, it's hard because of this, Anthony. You give me those points, Roger, got it. Let's move on, and we'll talk about this. But until you give back to the country that's giving you something now, you need to step up and do the right thing. Because otherwise, you're just a strain on this government. You're a strain to the people who actually need the welfare, and you're a strain to the system that could benefit greatly from money being poured back in instead of money being dished out all the time. And that's my 2 cents.